Well. So over on my community-led survival school, Resilient Roots, I teach you all of the fundamental skills on how to get started in learning. Wilderness living skills, I'll put a link below if you're interested. Now, I've got a lesson there on how to find a good camp spot. And one of the acronyms I use, which is pretty common in wilderness survival training, is called the 4 W's of camp, which stands for wind, water, wood, and widowmakers. I know they're obviously running out of W's, essentially meaning hazards. Now, it's a good place to start. Has a little checklist for you to tick off. But once you get practiced, what you ultimately get a feeling for is just picking up vibes. A certain place has a good vibe or not. So what are the vibes of this place tell me? Well, I can feel the wind on my skin. That's giving me an idea of where I might seek shelter and also where the smoke of my fire is going to go. What else? Resources. I'm having a look around and thinking about firewood. It's January, it's cold, it's wet. I ideally want to find some dead standing wood on the south side of the forest where it's going to be getting the most chance to dry, so I'm going to search this part of the forest. I'm obviously keeping an eye out for hazards. Main thing here is dead trees that might fall on me. I'm also looking for resources to build with. In this environment there's lots of invasive trees. The ecosystem would thank me if I take a few of them. So I'm going to be using these hemlocks to build stuff out of. Now, we have very little daylight this time of year, so I better shut up and find a camp spot. Here we have a stag wallow. During the rut, the stags like to rub themselves and cover their antlers in mud and things, makes them look bigger. They also pee in it and roll around in it, so they're nice and stinky. That's how you get the ladies, fellas, that's how you get the ladies. I'm liking the vibes of this camp spot. So when I'm making a mattress out of hemlock branches or similar shaped conifers, the thick bits of the branches you obviously want to hide because these are not going to be comfortable to lie on. So what I'm doing is just kind of get the thick bits and tuck them around. You can even sort of shove them in the ground, hiding the thick bits under the thin bits. You can also make the thick bits stick in the outside of the mattress with the thin bits coming in. Because it's winter right now, it might go below freezing. I want to make this nice and thick. I do also have a deer skin, which will do a little bit of protecting me from conduction. But when it's cold, you want all the help you can get. This is why I spend a bit of time making a decent mattress. You will thank yourself when it comes just before dawn and it's absolutely Baltic. Aye. Oh, that's comfy, just as it is. This stream gifts the best stones for building stuff. Look at this. That is just a ready to go reflector wall for my fire. My top tip for lighting fires in wet, cold conditions is find a lovely dead standing bit of willow, a willow tree. Ideally, again, south facing side of the forest, somewhere that's upright, going to get a lot of wind and sun. Find something with the bark that's going to come off and the wood is bleached a little bit. From my experience, it's one of the best things in the Scottish Highland environment to make feather sticks. For some reason, just the way it splits, it just splits really nicely. It sort of retains a little bit of its springiness, and at least from my experience, that is fantastic for carving your feather sticks. Here I have a female pheasant, which was gifted to me by a friend, who in turn got it off an estate after a sports shoot. It's quite crazy how many hundreds, if not thousands, of pheasants are just wasted after these estate shoots. So I'm happy that this one's not going to waste. It would have done if I hadn't got it. Thank you for your sacrifice, Mrs. Birdie. May your life energy be used to do good things. Apart. Middle there. Figure I'd do first is give the meat a good searing, burn off the feathers and hopefully crisp the skin a little bit, and then keep in the moisture. So another good thing about the tree that I made my mattress out of, Western Hemlock, it's got nothing to do with poison hemlock, by the way. I don't know why it's called hemlock. But another good thing about hemlock is that, like many other conifers, you can use the needles for tea. In fact, I've compared it to larch and pine and spruce, and in my opinion, Western Hemlock was the tastiest. So, as I'm waiting for my pheasant to roast, I'll make a wee batch of hemlock tea. Look at that. Let's see if it's ready. Oh yeah. Breast definitely is. No seasoning, no salt. Just pure campfire. Mmm. That's perfectly cooked. And even though it has no salt, no oil, no herbs or anything, it's still got a beautiful flavor. Still quite salty for some reason. Could have done with making the mattress a little bit thicker, just for your comfort's sake. Not too bad asleep. Weird dreams though. Something about the sound of the stream turns into weird happenings in the night. Thanks so much for watching, folks. If you want to come join a wee tribe of like-minded folk all learning this stuff together, then check out my community-led survival school, Resilient Roots. We do monthly challenges, live calls, in-person courses, and also an annual members-only in-person gathering here in the woods, and it's always good fun, so go check that out. If you want to support my work in general, support the creative process, then check out my Patreon page. There you'll find extended editions. You'll also find the download links to all my guitar music, which you've been hearing in this video. And it's just the best way to keep this channel free to watch and free from sponsorship interruptions. So, thank you for your time. I'll see you out in the woods someday.